welcome back to Gen X Toy Box. It's been a little while before we've done an interview, so I figured we might as well do another one. So this couple, we knew them way back in the day from comic book conventions, and they are a husband and wife creative duo. Like they just combine forces, and they put out some really cool stuff that I want to tell you about. So welcome, Robert and Elinda. Welcome to the show.
Hi guys, thanks for having us.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh my goodness, they're so cute. I can't handle it. So they both work for Dean's Family Productions, and that's their own production company. Like they birthed it themselves, they're running it themselves, they are the bosses. And they create series like Shake the Cow. So you've seen Shakes, Stanley the Bear from Ant, and Steer Your Own Story and MooseLambs. So much cool creative stuff has come from you guys, and I'm just so excited to learn more. And the cool thing is, it doesn't just end with the series. So we've got some really cute crochet plus toys that Elinda makes that goes along with them. So of course it ties right back into what our channel does. We do geek culture and toys. So I absolutely love it. All right. So let's start with how your idea for Shakes the Cow came about. Like, how did you get that idea? For I think the first part of your series was Moo Thousand and Pun, which is first of all a really great name.
Thank you.
And why a cow? Like, where did it come from?
Totally happenstance. I actually started in nonprofit work, and that ended sort of unceremoniously. And you know, had always been a comic book fan and was in at a very unfamiliar time to the comic book shop. And was there with, had my daughter in her carrier, and I'm there like Wednesday at 11 a.m. They're like, "What are you doing here?"
Exactly.
And I'm like, I'm now unemployed, so I'm picking up my comics early. They're like, okay, fine.
Yep.
And the two people that were there, like whispers in the corner, like, you want a job?
There you go. Perfect.
So I worked in comics for 10 years, and I became friends with a lot of creators because I would go to comic shops, as you do the thing. And that sort of got me just thinking about creating, because I'd always doodled as a kid. I drew a lot. Um, I wasn't one of those kids who got in trouble for doodling in the margins of their notebooks when they should have been paying attention in class. I just didn't pay attention in class.
There you go. Perfect.
So and I started doing a web comic while I was at the shop, and it was sort of inspired by Far Side, which had a lot of cows,
Mhm.
and my love of penguins, and it just became a thing. And I ended up doing a sub comic, which was like a Sunday kind of thing, where you do the long strips, and it's a build up to a sort of, oh dear, kind of gag. And it was the Adventures of Surf and Turf, and it was a
Awesome.
cow and a penguin on a farm. And I did that for a while, and I got laid off from the comic shop. And was like, okay, what am I going to do now? And pardon the TMI, I was in the shower literally the next day. What am I going to do? And it was like a bolt of lightning. And I not literally, because that would have electrocuted me
You
in
know,
the
that's
shower,
terrible.
but it all hit me like in one flash. I got out of the shower. I opened up the laptop, and within an hour, the book, the title, the design, and the first draft were done.
Wow.
And it was all based on what if Shakes
Mhm.
was lost in space.
Oh, wow.
And it just it was that simple. I don't want to say simple, but it was that inspired. It was just, and it was a way also to sort of plug in my love of Monty Python, Star Wars, 2001, which, Star Wars and 2001 don't really go together. One is very obnoxiously highbrow, but still a good story. The other was very lowbrow, but still a wonderful story. And I could put in, obviously, puns and gags and jokes, but also throw in a little bit of, subversive learning for the kids, like the figuring out the order of the planets kind of thing.
Cool.
And I talked to friends who were creators, and I crowdfunded the book, and it was a success. And it's like, I need to do another one of these,
Yeah.
and another and another. And it's been 6 years, and I've done 15 books.
That's amazing. And
So
yeah, and that's kind of, you answered my question with the second one. So I was wondering how you spread the word. And it looks like you were fortunate enough to like have a lot of contacts and you were in the community for a long time. So how was it like? Did you do like all the paneling yourself? And I know you did the writing and the illustrations. How did you like handle the paneling and all that and like the printing? That aspect for us is really hard. So how did you handle all that?
uh, Talking about, well, I was a history major,
Uh-huh.
and this one works in the Library of Congress, was a history major. So research was a big thing for me, always has been. And I did a lot of research. And the traditional way of printing is if you've got a contract with a book publisher, they outsource the printing to China, and it literally comes on a slow boat.
Yeah.
And you have pallets of thousands of copies of books. Well, we live in a 2-bedroom, a 3-room apartment. We can't handle thousands of books, you know. Well, we already have thousands of books. That's part of our problem.
Oh,
Most of them are comics. Comics are cookbooks.
yeah.
So I dug into local printing, and I actually, I didn't go local, but I went American. And Ingram is a company many people may have heard of, and they're the company that actually provides Barnes and Noble or Amazon or small booksellers with their books. They get a shipment every week of what's new. And a lot of that is actually printed in the United States. It's more expensive,
Mhm. Yeah.
but you can print smaller quantities, which was the big deal.
Well, that's what you needed. Yeah.
And anybody, any moron who can figure out the programming
Mhm.
uh, can can do a book. Now you can do a book like through Amazon,
Yeah.
has Kindle Press or whatever they call it.
Mhm.
But there are always screwy rights issues. It's like
Mhm.
Amazon isn't quite up front about what you own and what you don't own of your own material.
Oh, that's important.
And with Ingram, it's like, do you own the copyright? Cool, we'll print it.
Awesome.
I don't make as much off each book,
Right.
but I own it.
Yeah, that's really
And
important.
and the best thing is through Ingram, I'm literally accessible through every bookstore in the world.
There you go. Perfect.
So,
Yeah.
and as long as I'm diligent, which I'm not because I suck at self promotion,
Oh.
and get on social media and say, hey, my book is here.
Mhm.
Here's the ISBN. Go to any bookstore.
Yeah,
Anyone can literally find my stuff.
that's great.
And so that's why I went with the publisher I did with Ingram.
Yeah, and that's great. It's like, yes, it costs more, but it was really worth the effort. It seemed like you really, it was worth that extra little bit because now the gain is a lot from it. So yeah.
Right. And it does, it follows the trend of, buy American, but, don't outsource where you can,
Mhm.
keep jobs local as possible. So
It's true. Yeah, and I'm for all of you. If you haven't read any of the books, I really highly recommend that you read them. They
thank
are
you.
such a good read. And there'll be tons of information in the description below for you followers and you subscribers to get books and to follow them on social media. So there'll be tons of opportunities there.
If
Um,
I may,
yeah.
I don't keep a lot in stock for myself to sell. I actually sell through bookshop.org.
Oh, there you go.
And if you go through that, I actually tell you in our bookshop store the age groups,
Perfect.
if that helps, because I group my books based on Flesk scores, and I have all my books tested. So that sounds so wrong. Teachers are in, teachers really care about, what matters.
Yeah,
Teachers care about whether or not a book is appropriate for their reading group, not
absolutely.
just their students' ages.
Yeah.
And I group my books based on their Flesk scores and their reading testing scores. So that's where when you look at my books and it says 0 to 6,
Mhm.
um, that score that is not just judged by, well, I know a 6-year-old who liked my
Right.
book. That's actually tested out.
Oh,
So that for
wow.
teachers that are watching, that's how that's judged.
Wow. I mean, I'm a teacher. I am an early childhood teacher. I do 6 weeks to 6 years, but I thoroughly appreciate that. And as being a mom, like that's just
I
phenomenal.
also, when I physically make, well, not physically make the books, but when I format the books, I also go into considering the font choice for
Oh,
each
wow.
child group, so that younger kids have larger fonts,
Wait,
but they're also chosen for what is easier for a younger child versus an older child,
wait.
or a child who is potentially dyslexic.
Mhm.
There are fonts that work better for those child groups.
I did not know that
So
actually. Um,
yeah,
Wow.
That's another thing that I take into consideration, because there are some children that may have dyslexia or may not, but if they have a reading disorder,
Mm-hmm.
one font will literally make a huge difference in whether or not they can teach themselves to read.
Wow.
So,
I never even took that under consideration. Like that gives me a whole nother perspective on it's not just the words on the paper, it's how they're presented and how the brain processes those words. That is a whole nother aspect I never took into consideration. So you taught me
which is
something.
which is why comic books are so popular, because the font that
Mhm.
they generally use in comics
Yeah.
is one of the Comic Sans gets a lot of grief,
Yeah,
but
no.
it's the easiest to read font for dyslexics and young children.
Ah, wow.
So you
Wow.
couple that with the fact that they're reading about superheroes, and
Yeah.
that's why kids love to read comic books and graphic novels when they're that young. So
Recipe
it
for
gets them to
success.
read.
There you go. Wow. So what made you go toward the audience of children? Like what fueled that passion and what made you like really want to make it not like you said, just, oh, this is 0 to 6 because I know a 6-year-old. What made you want to go that extra mile and get it tested that way?
I'm a child.
That's the
Um,
best answer I've ever heard. I love it.
no, well, okay, no, well, she'll tell you I can be. Um, when I was a retailer,
Mhm,
um, I technically worked at two stores.
mhm,
It was one store, and the owner passed away, and someone else bought the rights to the shop and then took over.
mm,
And it was a bit of a battle sometimes to keep certain things in stock to maintain a solid and approachable
mm.
all ages section.
Oh,
Trying to choose my words carefully.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And a lot of people, the comic book industry is mostly fueled by collectors.
Mhm.
There's no getting around that.
Yeah.
And a lot of them seem to equate all ages
Mm.
with childish, which
Oh,
is not true.
right,
All ages means accessible,
right.
which we've just talked about.
Yeah. Mhm.
And that accessibility will keep comic books going. There
Wow.
is no point into some 45-year-old guy coming into my shop with their child,
Mhm.
and this happened a lot,
Yeah.
and spending $100 on comics for himself and then not buying a comic for his kid,
That's true. That's very true.
which drove me nuts.
Hmm.
Um, so I always tried to make sure, and like I said, it was a bit of a battle sometimes, to make sure we had the broadest possible stuff available for kids to at least flip through while their parents were in the shop.
Wow. That's
The
great.
more we could get kids jazzed about reading, the smarter kids we were going to get when they grew up to be adults, because reading is clearly a function
Yeah.
that leads towards smarter, more empathetic, more
Creative.
more creative,
Mhm.
funnier kids. The better our society becomes, the more people read. And I don't mean like articles on the internet.
Yeah, yeah,
You know that as a teacher.
yeah.
We get better people, we get better societies, and so that's what I was going for. The more good stuff we had for them to read, and that could even be just better quality Archie comic books.
Mhm. That's true.
Anything that would get a child jazzed about reading, especially if it involved cultures other than their own.
That's phenomenal. I
you
love
know buy twice as many copies of Miss Marvel #1 because it's about a Muslim child
it.
who
Mhm,
happens to be a superhero,
mhm.
as opposed to just Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
which is more Carol, which is fine, great character,
Mhm.
but expand the knowledge and the awareness of another culture through a medium you love,
Yeah.
that will affect you 10 years down the road if you're suddenly faced with living amongst Muslims.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
It's
And it
Yeah,
says a lot because like it seems like with great power comes great responsibility. We all know this. And you're taking your talent and you're taking it responsibly and using it to not only teach children about reading, but teach them about themselves, their culture, the world, growing up, becoming better people. So I would be comfortable in saying you've used your talents wisely and responsibly to help influence children and adults alike. So
thank you.
I'm humbled. Thank you.
That's if you when you if you really sort of do a deep dive in the Shakes books,
Mhm.
I try to do that. I try to make them as funny and goofy as possible, but each one has a separate message. The first one is more just sort of like, here's the planets, get out there and explore.
Yeah.
That message for the kids is not, I don't blatantly slam them over the head with it like some children's books do.
Mhm.
It's, Shakes gets lost, but she doesn't panic. She
Mm.
finds her way home. And
Right.
that's the ultimate message, is like, just think about where you are
Yeah.
and think about your situation and think carefully about how to get home, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. And emotional regulation too, which is super important. That's
Yeah. And in the second book, she goes out exploring. She's in the jungle,
good.
and they get trapped in this temple,
Mm.
and suddenly there are all these other cows around them, and they're all different color,
Mm.
and they're speaking a different language, and they kind of flip out.
Yeah.
But it turns out that all that the other cows wanted was Shakes's autograph, because that's the cow from space.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But they didn't realize that. So an upcoming book is actually going to follow up on that story and turn it on its head.
Awesome.
So
Wow.
it's like each one I'm giving a message that the kids can latch onto without even realizing it.
Awesome. Wow.
And I don't like to wear my politics on my sleeve, but if you pay attention, you can kind of pretty much figure out where I'm from.
Yeah.
And in one of the Bear from Ant books, I actually did a whole LGBTQ thing about transgender for teens,
Very nice.
but I didn't even mention it.
Mhm.
And it's just about a caterpillar turning into a butterfly,
There you go.
and that's it.
And
Yep.
I have to say, of any of the books that he's written,
Mhm.
I think Caterpillar Drive is the best.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because I mean, I edit all of these books for him.
Awesome.
And normally, as I'm reading it, I see the characters
Mhm.
in my head. In that one, as the caterpillar is morphing,
Mhm.
Stanley is sitting there helping him emotionally cope with it. And because I know the characters behind the toys, I mean the animal characters,
Yeah.
I couldn't not see him,
Oh, wow.
the character and the person who is Tyler, or the group of characters who make up Tyler.
Yeah.
And I cry every time I read it. It is just so sweet and so wonderful, and it's all him.
Oh,
She
that's
gets she gets to do it again because I'm re-releasing all the Bear from Ant books.
Yeah, it's okay.
yeah. I was gonna ask you about that. So, what do you have like on the table right now that you're working on? What is some of the future stuff that you have?
What don't I have going on?
Yeah, seriously.
Um, well, I'm completely redoing the Bear from Ant series. I did 5, and the 5th one came out in, oh man, the 5th one came out in March of last year because I rushed it. It was still okay. I was proud of it as a book,
Mhm.
but I rushed it because I used it as a fundraiser for the wildfires in Australia.
Oh, wow.
Stanley being a koala, it made perfect sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And actually, Stanley barely appears in the book because
Mm.
the whole book is about Stanley being lost because of the fires.
Mm.
And one of his friends, Percy the penguin,
Mm.
who is also an ant agent, going to look for him. And then, that money, raised some money for that and sent it over. And one of the problems going on now is that printing a book has now become so expensive.
Mm.
I'm redoing them all as paperbacks.
Okay.
And instead of just reprinting them,
Mhm.
I'm actually rewriting them so they're longer
Oh, okay.
and redoing the art, because sometimes, I won a year, and because I would do them right around the same time I would be doing the Shakes books, the art wasn't consistent.
Mm.
It was still okay. I got across what I wanted, but now I've discovered, okay, here's my Shakes style, here's my Stanley the Bear from Ant style,
Yep.
here's this style. So
Mhm.
I'm redoing the Bear from Ant series with a set style for the art, and I'm rewriting them to add a little more juice to the orange, if you'll pardon a really weird metaphor. Um,
I heard that one. I like it though.
and they're going to be paperbacks. The first one has already come out. It's called the Honey Don't case.
Cool.
They're keeping the original titles. They're just going to be paperbacks. They'll be cheaper. They're a little smaller, so they're easier to carry around for the kids. And the Tyler one I just mentioned about will be out early next year. I'm hoping to get them done by one every 6 months. But as far as new stuff, Oy. I have a Patreon page, and I'm going to be doing a new short story series that'll release only to Patreon. And these are noir stories based on my love of 1930s film noir and the Thin Man series.
Oh, wow.
I've got the 6 Shakes books I talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I've got another MooseLambs book with Elinda that we're going to be working on.
Two of them.
Wow.
Yeah, we've at least one, because there we have 2 in the pipeline.
Mhm.
Basically, those moleskin notebooks,
Mhm.
little paperback notebooks.
Yeah.
I keep one for every idea that's going to become a book.
Oh, wow. There you go.
I've got 13 going at once now.
Wow, your brain's busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got 7 ideas for the next for Bear from Ant books. So once I get the paperbacks caught up, there are going to be a lot of those.
Mm-hmm.
3 Shakes books, the series I talked about for Patreon,
Mm-hmm.
2 MooseLambs, and then I've got 3 commissions I've got to do in the next week.
Wow. Wow. You busy. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff. Well, that's good though. I mean, you're busy, you're getting stuff done, you're moving forward. That's what we like. That's what we
Yeah.
look for. So that's good. So I really like the collaboration you guys have. And it was very nice to hear, Elinda, your like the heartfeltness that you had for your husband and his books that he writes. So it's a huge family effort on all of this. And both of you put so much work into the company. How has it been working together on these series and the toys? I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him. Yeah, no, I get it.
Well, to be honest, it's as he said. I work at the Library of Congress,
Mhm.
so he actually does more of the day-to-day
Mhm.
support of our little company.
Mhm.
I mostly do the toys.
Mhm.
He will say that I wrote the MooseLambs books, which is not really true. He wrote the first one. I will say that I plotted at least the second one.
Okay.
Um, and I am actually writing more of 3 and 4.
Awesome.
Stop it. But we just stop it. Our personalities clearly work well together,
That's great.
and we just kind of, we talk about everything,
Mhm.
and yes, we do. And our 15-year-old daughter, who is still in bed, at
It's
the
1:30.
at 1:30. Yep, she is.
I'm jealous. Really jealous.
She contributes as well, but we just, chat through it and see, it's mostly him. What does he need me to do?
Mhm.
Editing the books, ideas. If he has a goofy idea, he'll bounce it off me. And if I just stand and roll my eyes, maybe. If I turn and leave the room, it's a keeper.
Oh, there. Wow, that is a good way of measuring that. I like that one. That works for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. A lot of jokes have made it into the book just by watching her walk away.
that's perfect. Yeah. Oh my
Oh
goodness,
yeah.
that's hilarious. And so when you're not working together, what projects do you have that you work on separately? Like Elinda, I know you have a blog that I kind of want to talk about. It's called Flying Pork Productions, right?
I did, and actually, it's about to be um,
Relaunch.
relaunched.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It really started out because aside from all the book stuff, we're both also foodies,
Oh, wow.
and Robert is primarily the cook.
Wow.
I can cook,
Mhm.
but I'm the baker,
Oh,
and
Which
yeah, I can't do
sucks
that.
because I'm type 2.
Oh no.
yeah,
On my
Awesome.
birthday, on my birthday, she tried to kill
which
me.
was last week.
She tried to kill me. She made lemon cheesecake, cookies.
Cookies were for me.
You didn't stop me from trying them.
Right. Yeah, no.
Blueberry muffins and banana bread,
All right. So,
all in one day on my birthday.
wow. So yeah, you guys are in DC. It'll take me how long to get there? Like I'm about to head over there and get some good. Oh my goodness. I can't bake.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, I try. I can get like a good Duncan Hines cake in a box and make it and put it in a pan and make it.
That's my
Yeah.
love. Yeah.
Well, the thing
But
is,
like I can't.
my grandmother, my father's mother, had me in the kitchen with her baking from the time I was about 3 years old.
Mm.
And she was a phenomenal cook and an even better baker.
Oh wow.
And so the reason that the blog came about was because, I would post stuff on Facebook that we were making, and my friends kept asking for the recipes.
Yeah.
And okay, so I'd post them, but there came a point when my Facebook page was more recipes than anything else.
Right.
And I jokingly said to him one morning, one Sunday morning, after I'd posted a picture of something that we were eating, and I said, if someone asks me for the recipe, that's it. We're going to start a website for it, recipe website.
Mhm.
4 minutes later,
Yeah.
we had started it.
Of course. Of course.
So, and it's kind of morphed, it because the toys became such a big thing. I kind of had to let it slide because there was only so much that I could do.
Yeah.
Um, but it sort of morphed over the years. It started as just here's what we're eating.
Mhm.
And then as our daughter got older, what I started doing was kind of putting more family recipes in
Okay.
with more of a history of why these are important in our family, mostly for her, and so that other people could enjoy.
Nice.
So we're about to launch it again.
That's good.
um, and just kind of to throw up there the stuff that we're playing around with,
That's
and
cool.
mainly because I need the balance now because we've been home for so long.
Yeah.
So I'm working from home. I have 2 years worth of commissions for toys, and I need that balance actually, just to get up and do something else that I enjoy, but something that makes me move around.
Yeah.
Baking and cooking do. So my New Year's resolution
There's
was
Larry.
actually to bake more.
Not on one day.
I did it all in one day.
Right. Well, at least I mean she can do like some sugar-free recipes, add some Splenda in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the good stuff. Yeah.
There's a weird recipe for a flax meal bread, which is literally like nothing but flax meal and eggs. It actually is like a halfway passable cornbread substitute.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm down for trying
Almost.
some stuff.
Almost. Remember, I'm from the South too, so
Yeah, I
you
know. Yeah,
yeah.
cornbread, that's a hard one to replace. But like, yeah, I'm back on my plant-based stuff, and like I just went to Target and just got a whole bunch of plant-based. So I'm back on that. We'll see how it goes. But
Mhm.
Let me tell you, I one of the things that hurt me most when they canceled Heroes
Mhm.
for last year
Mhm.
was I was literally structuring our drive down around when Biscuitville would open.
yeah, no, we do that, but with pork skin. From being in the South, like, oh, what when we're going, like, what places around here have good pork skin? So we we kind of do.
Yes.
Oh, I get it. All right.
Yes.
So I kind of wanted to dig a little bit into the toys because we are a toy group.
I'll get the knife. No, no, no.
Yeah,
That's
right. I love them. I think they're adorable. So they're beautiful. They're handmade, which is phenomenal. So you told us a little bit. Tell us a little bit how you like got into the crocheting. You told us about like the baking and cooking. What about the crocheting aspect?
The crochet came from um I've actually, oh, wait for it. There we go.
Is that
There's
the Oogie
Preach.
Boogie? Oh no, that's the
Creature
black,
from the Black
yeah,
Lagoon.
that's I couldn't think of the word, but yeah, that's oh my goodness.
That was Robert's Christmas present from a couple of years ago.
Oh my goodness. I love that.
That is probably one of the most,
And it's
with
got
others.
udders. It's
with
got
others,
udders. Oh my goodness. Win.
I think that is probably one of the most technically difficult toys
Because of like all the folds and stuff
that
and,
that
and
I've done.
flaps and everything.
Yep.
All complete. Yeah. All of the little ridges in the chest
Wow.
are there, and on the side of the head as well. It's one of my favorite all time films, but it is also one of my favorite works that she's done in crochet. Just
And when I gave it to him, it was wrapped in a box
Mhm.
with tissue paper around it, and my daughter and I had wrapped it together, and we had one of the hands
Oh
reaching
goodness.
out So
Just like
that
the movie.
when he opened the box, the first thing he saw was the hand,
Yeah,
and he knew
perfect.
exactly what it was.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
So,
So cute.
yeah, the joke, our joke, which is actually true,
Mhm.
is that I've been crocheting longer than Robert's been alive.
Oh,
Because
well, yeah, there you go.
he's a tiny bit younger than me. Just
Oh,
a
okay.
tiny bit. Not a
A little
cougar,
bit.
but
Yeah. He's like, well,
so,
Children will be watching this.
I know it's fine. So like the baking, the crochet came from a woman who was important to me early on.
mm,
Um, and it was the woman who actually babysat me
oh wow.
when I was little. And I started going to her when I was about 6.
Mm,
And um, she was old. She was in her 70s when she was watching me.
mm,
But one of the things that fascinated me was that she crocheted.
mm.
And I would sit and watch her do all of these phenomenal, like she had pillows and blankets and shawls and pot holders and all of these things that she was spending her time on,
Mhm.
but then were useful afterwards. It wasn't just like something, it wasn't disposable. It
Right,
wasn't like, oh, I've done that. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the next thing.
right.
And I loved that.
Mm,
And so she got me started doing the little loop pot holders.
oh yeah.
And once I was comfortable with that, then she actually taught me how to crochet.
Wow.
And for a long time, I mostly just did blankets. I made some sweaters and dabbled in thread crochet.
Mm,
But pretty much throughout my life, it's just been something that I really enjoy doing. Mostly, and I think I only have one or two things that I've made, but mostly just as gifts for other people.
yeah.
So that's where the crochet came from. So at this point,
Wow.
I'm coming up on almost 50 years that I've been crocheting.
Wow. Yeah, no, I can't crochet at all. I wouldn't even know where to start. It would I think I did it like once. My grandmom tried to show me. I made a square. So I mean, cool,
Aw,
right? Yeah.
yay.
Yeah, I made a square. And that's the extent of my crochet. So I am very impressed. So if you could hold the cow up a little bit to the camera, I want to see. Oh my goodness. So now does everything you crochet have udders?
No, not everything.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I was
It
curious.
depends.
Yeah.
We call it cow's play.
Okay.
So it does depend on which outfit Shakes is wearing.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay.
This is the most recent superhero.
Oh, look at the Hulk. Oh my goodness.
So the Hulk does not have
Swole.
udders.
Yeah, it does not have udders. Okay.
So
That,
this is a commission that a friend of ours requested, that is way late, and I need to finish up the third piece. It was a commission of Captain Amuica, the Incredible Hulk,
yeah,
and
yeah, that's
Spider Shakes. And Spider Shakes is the one that's taking me a while because I'd been avoiding it for so long because of all the webbing.
oh yeah, yeah, that's hard.
So now I think I have it. It should be ready in the next couple of weeks, I hope.
See, I would
So
have gone like the easy route, be like, no, you're getting a mask to put on your face, and you're gonna just crochet the mask and put the mask on. So like that, oh, that would have been hard. I would have.
I actually did a mask for one of the shakes. It was for my daughter. There are certain characters that have more of a negative connotation, but I have to say my daughter loves Friday the 13th.
I love it. I love
So
it.
I made her a Jason.
Perfect.
And it's the shake's face, but it has the hockey mask over it that's removable.
That is beyond cool. I can't handle that. And so you do a lot of commissions. You have them, you said up until for 2 years.
Just about.
Yeah, yeah. And
And it covers the gamut. I mean, Jedi, the
Yeah.
entire cast of Next Generation,
Yeah.
superheroes.
Mhm.
It's become it is a thing.
mhm,
Wow. And I was going to ask you, how many Baby Yodas have you done? Probably like 1,000.
None.
none, none.
I've only done one Baby Yoda art commission.
I'm confused. Like, how? Baby Yoda's everywhere. I don't know.
I think that may be why. I think it's the ubiquity of the actual toys that they were quick to get out.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Yeah. I think which is fine because I actually stopped watching The Mandalorian because I had Baby Yoda overload. I had to I can't.
Not possible. That's not how. No, there must be something wrong. No, that's not possible. Like that's the only reason I watched The Mandalorian. Like I wasn't in it for anything else other than Baby Yoda. So no, I don't know. But that is incredible. And so, like, what does the process look like? Like, so someone comes with you for a commission. Is it something like you like sketch out first? Is it something you just visually see and then you just start doing it, or
for the toys?
yeah, for the toys?
It actually depends.
Yeah.
I'm going to use this one as the example because this is the original shakes.
Yeah.
This is actually the very first
Oh,
one.
the very first one. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the way the toys came about was because when he started writing the books, I kept saying, we need toys.
Yeah.
Because as a mother, whenever I could get a book and a toy, because I remember when I was a kid, if I could hold, Winnie the Pooh and read the book at the same time, it brought it more to life for me. Paddington.
Oh, yeah.
The Wombles, which is a very old British TV show that, we got everything when we were over there when I was like 7. But it's having the toy to hold brings the story to life.
It does.
And Shakes and Stanley ultimately were just, so sweet and so lovable that the second the book was done, I started saying, we need toys.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so we started talking to our friends in the industry who had toys. And, what's your process? Where do you make them? Where do you have them made?
Yep.
And the process varied. Most of them were made in China because there are very few, I think there are only 2 toy companies producing stuff like this.
Oh, wow.
In the US. And because there are that few, they're overrun.
Yeah.
And so their timeline for actually making the toys was quite long. I didn't want to go the China route.
Yeah.
And it was the same as the books. You had to order thousands.
Yeah, we have
a
friend who had his toys designed and made in China. He had to purchase a certain amount. It was something like 4,000 up front. 25,000. Okay.
Wow. What are you going to do with all that? My goodness.
And he had to put up all of the money up front.
No, thank you.
And then it got shipped over, and at least a quarter of them were defective.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
But you can't tell that when you open it. And for me, it was less than that. It was, if we were going to have toys, we wanted to have more creative control over them to make sure they were okay. So after we heard all of that, it's kind of like, yeah, all right, let's table that for the time being. Let's just get the books up and running, and then we'll see about the toys. So a few months later, I get a text from him with a little picture of a little teeny tiny crocheted cow. And he said, can you make this look like Shakes?
Yeah.
And a week later, this was born.
There it is. Oh my goodness.
So this one was a little challenging because what the differences between 2D art and 3D art, that tends to be where the issue comes in. So he kept saying, I want the base of the butt to be, X inches wide. And I kept going, you don't understand how big this thing's going to be. And so I finally just went, no, this is what we're doing. And actually,
perfect.
I'm better now. I just shut up and listen.
Yeah. I'm doing this deliberately because Shakes is a hat. That's a hat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
And then to get the body shape, I just increase or decrease wherever I want it to get the right shape. And then the arms and legs are mini versions. And we just played around with the shape and the sizing and the length. And then I just kind of came up with the rest. So that's where that comes from. Now, when we get a commission these days.
Like yours.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I want to show this off. Look. So this is I God, I want to say
Tote Man. Well,
yeah,
Tote Shakes.
Tote Man. Yes, Tote Man as shakes. So we have, as you guys may know, we have an epilepsy awareness comic book character, and it's Tote Man, and he's got even his little ear flaps and all. Now this has been around for a while. It's been passed down from our middle child now to our youngest child, and he sleeps with it. But it is
Aw.
super cute. It's super soft, and he loves his cow. And there's actually beans in his butt, which I didn't even know there were beans.
Yep, there are beanies.
There are beanies.
There are beanies.
So yeah, so like walk me through the commission. Like how does, I mean, how long now? How long does it take now? Like because you said the first one was about a week. Is it now that you have the pattern and stuff down? Does it take you a lot longer, or I mean, a lot shorter?
Well, it depends. What we did first was when John gave us the comic,
Mm-hmm.
I took it
Mm-hmm.
and started making sketches because I sort of studied John's design,
Oh yeah.
and then what I do is I do front, sides, and back, top and bottom,
Oh okay.
and then I sort of play with it until I can make it as accurate to the character,
Mm-hmm.
but easy for 3 dimensional. We've been doing this long enough now that I can actually,
Yeah.
without her going, "You're an idiot. That's not going to work." Every time I
Yeah.
hand her a design,
Yeah.
Can you make the top of the head flat? No, I can't.
Not gonna work.
Not,
I
not
figured it
without
out. Yeah.
putting something in there. No.
So and and then I'll color it as close as I can, knowing the yarn,
Got
what's
it.
available in it,
So you're almost like the
and then
translator from like page to toy.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Cool.
Something like this where it's a gift for me and I haven't a clue.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Wow.
she's on her own, but she's obviously doesn't need me for this. Um, well, maybe I shouldn't have said that. She may not need me for any of these anymore. Is that why you tried to kill me on my birthday with all
Stop it.
those
Oh,
papers?
probably. She's like, I'm taking them all for myself.
So yeah, so I'll give her that, and she'll work off of that card. Card can take me from anywhere, for depending on the complexity of the character. A couple days max. We did one for just for fun of
Yeah. Oh
The reason I'm showing this is the current one
my goodness.
that is, this is another commission that's Green Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
And for something like this, there are some that I can just, someone can say, can you do this? And I just look, and sometimes I'll ask him,
Yeah.
just about certain design elements. For this one
Okay.
though, I watched Green Arrow on the CW, but I was not familiar with the character other than like Justice League. So I said to him, I need you to design this for me.
Mm-hmm.
and then it actually turns into the problem areas become things like how to do a bow.
Mm.
Normally not an issue, but
Right.
one of the major things we do or try to do is the toys have to be kid friendly, kid safe,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and pet safe.
Oh, see, that's important too.
So like when we do like I do anything, when we present someone with a Jedi toy, for example,
Mm-hmm.
the lightsaber, because these are washable,
Oh, very
can't have like a pipe cleaner
right.
for the lightsaber.
Right.
So we actually buy Lego pieces
Mm.
that can be washed. They
There you
keep the
go.
lightsaber uh, straight.
And
Trying
they
to
go
use
on
the
the
word for it.
inside of the crochet of the.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
But that's less easy with a bow, which is curved.
Right.
Excuse me. So that's proving to be interesting with this. And
Yeah.
then the quiver, and then how to set it so does Shakes hold the bow? Does
Right.
Shakes sling it over? And so I actually think weird little things like that all are really where the difficulties come in. So that ends up being lots of discussions about design.
Yeah.
But we did one for fun, just to literally have with us when we watched the Picard show recently.
Mm.
When they brought back Patrick Stewart for Picard,
Yeah.
that was Locutus.
Mm-hmm.
And that proved interesting because it's like, okay, how many shades of gray does this yarn come in that
Right.
we can make it a reasonable representation of Locutus?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that also, this showed up on my Facebook page not long ago. We had to have a discussion about if a cow has a prosthetic device placed over or around its ear, what does that do to the ear?
Does the ear stay or does the ear
Ear
go?
go.
Yeah, right. Huh.
Not that we get too much into this.
No, it's great. It's like you're just not like willy-nilly throwing stuff together. You're actually thinking about the design process, which is amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
again, pet friendly, pet safe,
yeah.
kid friendly, kid safe.
So do you come up with all the names before you like as you make them? Like do you come up with the names or
It's about half and half.
varies.
okay.
Yeah.
That's actually one thing I'm really proud of is like she's coming up with puns now too.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so is our kid.
Oh, she comes by it naturally, thankfully.
Yeah, I didn't grab it out of her room this morning, but her Christmas gift
Mhm.
this year, she went to New York
Mhm.
last year.
Yeah.
And a year ago, and for a theater trip, and they went to see Beetlejuice on
Ooh.
Broadway, and she
Oh.
completely fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Not the movie as much, but just the story.
Mhm.
And so for Christmas this year, she got we were calling it originally Beetle Moose,
Okay.
and then she decided that it should be named Teetlejuice. But it was actually,
Okay.
I'm going to say it matched Creech in terms of difficulty because I had
Mhm.
vertical lines in it, and
Oh yeah.
having to do all of the pieces separately and stitch them together on the inside. And then that one had a new feature, which was there's a point at which you don't see it in the movie,
Mhm.
but you see it, and there is a picture online of Beetlejuice in the play where he pulls back his scalp and you can see brain and worms.
Oh,
And so the toy actually has a flip
that's cool.
top of the head
That's cool.
with the brain
Mhm.
and the worms. So figuring that out was
Yeah.
challenging this year, but I really have learned over the years that um, whenever there's a new design feature,
Mhm.
there have been times when I, sort of go out in the wild, like, how am I going to do this?
Mhm.
I just don't have a clue. And then almost every single time, I end up coming back to something that I've done previously in another toy
There you go.
and then morphing it off of that. So, new design elements don't necessarily really stray far from the previous
That
designs.
that makes a lot of sense. And I
Yeah.
like the fact that there's actually playability. When you think of a stuffed toy, you're like, oh, you just hug it. You just, it sits there. No, you add playability to it. And that's really awesome. It adds a whole nother element to it that I think kids absolutely love. So I love it.
There, she designed a removable gauntlet
Oh,
for when Endgame and
Yep.
and Infinity War came out, so that you can actually we have Thamus and Iron Moo, and there's a gauntlet that will fit on either one. You can transpose it from one to the other.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
neither one snaps, so it's okay. Reality is
Yeah.
fine, but you can still switch it from either one.
The funny thing was, I'm not quite sure how I did this, but when we went to see Infinity War, now we do this with every movie that we go see. We have Wonder Shakes, we have Captain America,
Mm-hmm.
we have Muchala.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to the movies with us. Yes, we are completely insane.
Awesome.
They go to the movies with us.
Cute.
They don't get their own popcorn.
They don't, no, they take mine. So there's always a picture of them sitting in my seat with all of my snacks. And then there's always a follow-up picture with them sitting, because our theater has the seats with the tray.
Oh,
So
okay.
they sit on my tray and block my view.
Of course
Okay.
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we went to see Infinity War, we already had Captain America. And I thought, we need Iron Moo.
Yeah.
And so, we have Iron Moo there. Now, at that point, it did not have the additional gauntlet.
We're crazy cow people.
Because, yeah, we really are crazy cow people. Because we didn't know that it was going to have it. So that was added after the movie.
Yeah.
However, I'm sitting there. Now, my daughter is very much, we're all Captain America fans.
Team Cap.
Team Cap. My daughter really did not like Tony Stark. Just
Okay.
he's just too full of himself in her mind.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so as it's becoming clear what's going to happen to him. I have Iron Moo. Iron Moo is sitting with me.
Oh man.
And I look over and I think she was what, 13 at the time, 2 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
And tears are streaming down her face. And I just said, I think you need this more than I do.
Yeah, right? Oh my goodness.
And so she had Iron Moo for quite a while after that.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's like nobody knew Iron Moo's fate. It's a shame. Oh my
Right.
Oh, all right. So, you guys, you love geek culture, like comic culture, toy culture. What do you guys collect, if anything?
Yarn.
Yarn.
Yeah, yeah.
There are
Obviously.
little bits of yarn everywhere.
I believe it. I do.
You, oh my God, it's do y'all have a cat?
We don't.
Okay. If you, cat people, if you know that you'll just find litter pieces everywhere. It's like that with yarn.
Oh my goodness.
Everywhere.
Well, that's good.
They're like tribbles. You can't get away from them. They
Mhm.
pop up everywhere. But that's not what we collect. I'm not a collector per se, in that I don't feel, with the exception of like, I want to have all of Myrna Loy movies,
Okay.
or movies, or William Powell's movies. I don't feel the need to collect everything of a thing, but I do like certain things.
Mhm.
Like I did pull this out because this is my latest
Yeah, I was going to say Legos.
Oh,
thing.
there you
I
go.
do love the Star Wars Legos.
There
I
you
don't get all of them,
Yeah.
but like certain kits, and almost all of them tend to be like Empire Strikes Back related.
Yeah.
Just because that's my favorite of the series.
Awesome.
Something like that. Or excuse me, we get too close to the camera. These kind of books. This is something she gave me for my birthday.
Oh yeah.
Behind the scenes books. I
Oh,
love the artistry of filmmaking. And in fact, I had originally gone to college to become a filmmaker.
cool.
So anything like that where I can see the process of how a film is made,
Yep.
which actually helped my ability to create a book, create a story, to write a picture book, and draw a picture book. So things like that, that's what I really pick up on. I running gag every Christmas, she gets something, either Jaws or Aliens.
There
So
you
we
go.
have a lot of that.
Two
Yeah.
of my favorite movies.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
I do buy my fair share of comics or graphic novels, but now it's more like I'm buying stuff to help my friends that are in the industry, like boost their sales.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything else I can pick up digitally.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, pretty much anything Empire Strikes Back related.
Cool.
I used to say I collect penguins, and then everybody gave me something penguin related.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Just like, okay, chill.
Yeah.
Like, I know y'all have like a Masters of the Universe thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But you have to be careful, because like then everyone gives you something related to it, and you end up with like 4 or 5 of everything.
Yeah, and then
And
it's
it's
like
like,
what do I do with it. Yeah.
it takes over.
Mhm.
So it's like I'm just like, if someone says, "Hey, what are you into?" I'm just like, "I'm good."
I'm good. Yeah.
Like, I'll handle that kind of stuff myself.
Oh
Thank you.
my goodness. Yeah, we have an entire room, a large room dedicated to Masters of the Universe. All the other stuff is slowly moving out, like the Turtles and Transformers. And my husband's now making a second toy room. Um, a second one, yeah. So all the excess toys.
General toy room, or a
No,
second Masters of the Universe toy room?
general. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, no. If it's another Masters of the Universe, like I think I would cry like that. I mean, we're down to like the little nitty gritty now, as far as like the little, like, or the more expensive stuff, but like the little nichey weird stuff as far as Masters. But like now it's like the GI Joes, Toxic Avengers, Turtles, you name it. My Thundercats is down there, so now we're working on a second, and then. Like, this is my office. I have a Grubby right there. I got, Pops back here. I got Care Bear
Right.
over there. Toys are everywhere.
The Chuck E. Cheese flag is a nice touch, because that's an older one.
Yes, yes. This is actually from when we used to go with God, when he's 15 now, our 15-year-old. This is back in New Jersey. We brought this
Oh, wow.
from New Jersey. So yeah, that's like a Sesame Place one from like back in the day. I've never been to a Sesame Place, so got Barbies everywhere. There's toys everywhere. So yeah, we collect a little bit of everything.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I had. I really appreciate you guys having the interview, and I really learned a lot from you guys, and learned about your characters and you guys as people and your production company and everything. And I am very
Well,
humbled.
I don't know if we should apologize for that or not.
Oh no, it's great. No, I'm so blown away by the amount of stuff you guys are doing. So again, everyone, check the description below. There's going to be tons of information, and you might want to get in the commission line now for some plushies, because they're filling up fast. But thank you guys, and
Thank you so much for having
you're
us.
so welcome. And then we will see you all next interview. Bye, guys.
Hello, fellow
Hello,
toy
guys.
lovers.
How's it
So
going?
tonight, I just wanted to give you a huge thank you. We have made it to 150 subscribers. And as I said before, I started at 2. And I've grown to 150, and I've grown a lot just this past week. So I want to thank you guys so much for the support. I've had a blast. I mean, I'm buying toys and I'm showing you what I buy. So it's been really fun. I'm getting to know people in the toy community. I'm going on all types of adventures. And I'm just having so much fun with this. And I want to thank you for joining me. So now that we met our 150, I need another goal. So our new one is going to be 200. So if we make it to 200, I want to show you another room in the house, because you guys seem to have really enjoyed the Masters of the Universe room. So why don't we show off something else? I mean, we are working on a new toy room. So continue to like and subscribe. Get your friends to like and subscribe. And then eventually we'll get to see another room in the house, because there's so many. And maybe I'll do viewer's choice again. So put in the comments what kind of room you would like to see, and then we can get that happening. But man, it's been a journey, and God, it's been so full of Mr. T. It's been so full of Funko. It's been ridiculous. But yeah, I still have a beef with Mr. T. Like, you, Mr. T, wherever you are, you're ridiculous. All of it. There's merchandise with your face on it that I can't even comprehend. And we have so much of it. You are so much in my house. It's not even funny. So, like, it's like all I hear is, I pity the fool who doesn't have my merchandise. Like, it's ridiculous. Anyway, I digress. That was a little thing I had to go off on. But it's been a fun ride, everybody. And stay tuned, because there are more videos to come, more giveaways, more tours, more interviews, more everything. So thanks, guys. Mwah.